everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Week in Review. That's right, we're back talking about all the games that we've reviewed over the past week and giving you short opinions of each of them. Then if you want to know more about the game, if you want to know more opinions, you can just click the link in the description below and it will take you to the full review. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, Garcia here. Last week I took a look at 3 things. Let's talk about them. I reviewed Time Bomb Evolution. I rate this an 8 out of 10. This is the follow-up, or one of the follow-ups to Time Bomb, also known from a different company as Don't Mess with Cthulhu. It's basically a social deduction game. The original Time Bomb is an extremely simple one, very basic. You could have the game end on a single card flip in the first minute of the game. Time Bomb Evolution takes the game, expands on it a little bit, I think enhances every aspect of it. So I think it is better through and through. I certainly recommend it to folks looking for a good social deduction game, bluffing style game. I reviewed an expansion to Imperial Settlers Empires of the North called, in a quite pithy way, Imperial Settlers Empires of the North Barbarian Hordes. I like it quite a bit, though. I rate this a 9 out of 10. It is 2 more fantastic factions for the original game. And it is, of course, going to be based around the Barbarians, who are very much about not growing their own crops or anything, just stealing it, either by, setting up traps or sailing on the high seas and taking what they need. It's neat. They're well-themed. They're interesting. They're engaging. And they have a little meanness, but in a roundabout kind of way. So I don't think they're going to feel too targeted. People aren't going to be hurt by playing against them. Really enjoy it. Absolutely recommend it. And then lastly, I reviewed the expansion to Targi called Targi the Expansion. It's one of those weeks. And this I like quite a bit too. I rate this a 9 out of 10. It kind of, the reason honestly it's not higher than a 9, I know that seems weird, is because it kind of guts the original game and just replaces it with what feels like Targi 2.0. As opposed to the kind of expansion you add in or remove on a whim, or whether you're playing with, advanced players or brand new players. I'll never go back to the original game, I think. This is kind of the new Targi. And it's fantastic. Targi is a great 2-player game. It's even better now with this, a little more modern, a little more swingy. That sounds bad. A little more, there's more opportunity for clever play you did not see coming. How about that? So, great stuff. There you go. That's it for me. Thank you for checking this out. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey everybody, it's Mike DiLisio. This week I reviewed the solo modes for 2 games. First, I reviewed Tang, which is this beautiful game with 3D components and a very interesting line of sight mechanic for scoring. I really enjoyed that aspect of the game. That line of sight scoring is something that I feel is unique and really makes the game enjoyable. However, there were some production issues that knocked the game down a bit for me. Some of the iconography I feel is difficult to understand, obtuse more than it needs to be, and some of the component choices I felt were questionable. However, I still give it a 7 out of 10 and my seal of approval. And I also reviewed the solo mode for Village Green, a very small card game, a puzzle game where you're trying to place out cards to try to get the best scoring opportunities. It's a beautiful looking game. I like the art. The biggest issue with it is that I don't know if it has a large amount of replayability, and it's also competing with a lot of other games of similar weight, even with similar feel as far as the theme. So I gave that a 7 out of 10 and a seal of approval. Still a good game. That's all I got this week. Thanks so much for your time.
Hi everybody, I'm Starla.
I'm Mick.
And we are
Our Fan Plays Games. Yeah.
And this week, we reviewed one game.
And that's 5 Tribes from Days of Wonder, 2 to 4 player, and the designer is Bruno Cathala.
Yeah, 5 Tribes has kind of an Arabian theme to it, where you've got camels, and you've got temples, and you've got oases, and you've got palm trees, and it has the Mancala mechanic. And you take your meeples and you move them from tile to tile in an effort to clear a tile. And once you clear the tile, you put your camel there, and then that tile is yours. The points on that tile becomes yours at the end of the game. We love it because you have resource cards, and you've got gens. Oh, the gens have so much power, and they also give you a lot of points at the end of the game. So there's so many ways you can make points. So even if you get rid of all your camels and you end the game, it doesn't mean you won it because it's all about what you've collected along the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man, it's a really good game.
I tried.
So, out of a rating from 1 to 10, we give this game a 10. We love it. And at 2-player, me and Starla, we go at it.
It's head
so,
to head.
again, it's a 10. Go find it. Go play it. Have fun. Bye, people.
Hey everybody, this is Roy Cannaday, and this week in review, I took a look at Marvel Battleworld. This is like a collectible Marvel game with almost like chibi-like collectible toys that I reviewed with my kids. It's definitely a fun game for the kids, but there's not a whole lot of game there, and the rulebook's kind of rough, so make sure to check out that review if you're interested in Marvel Battleworld and seeing more of what that looks like. And I also did Favorite Game Friday, as always, which was all about card games, so go and check that out with contributors from all around the world. It was definitely a lot of fun. So that's it from me.
Okay, so for me, first of all, Jungle Cruise, based on the Disney World ride, and I guess upcoming movie, mostly on the ride. Unfortunately, it's just roll and move. It's a pretty bad game, sadly. It looks pretty, but there's no real decision-making in this game. Tang Garden, such a beautiful game, did not resonate with me at all. I thought the gameplay was okay, but the actual problems with me constantly figuring out how tiles connected, having a hard time with line of sight, being busy, some luck in drawing the cards, which I thought was very strong. Just overall, it was okay, and maybe even less than that with the component confusion. Alice in Wordland, this is a party game, and you have the extremely annoying timer, as everyone is trying to say words that don't have letters in. It's amusing for a little bit. Back to the Future, Dice Through Time. This one, it's a cooperative dice game. Yes, I know I already reviewed one of these in the past. There's another one with this exact same theme. It's okay. Again, it feels too lucky, and I'll play it, but I didn't get excited about it. Clash of Vikings. This is like Coup, a game in which you're playing cards and saying what you're going to do without everyone else calling your bluff. It's very much like that, but it's a board game you run around hitting each other as Vikings. Again, it's okay, but nothing to write home about. My City. This is a legacy game from Rainer Knizia. It's nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, and in fact, it may have won today for all I know. But it's a decent game. It's a flip and place tiles in a board style game. The legacy part isn't super strong, but it's good, and overall, if you like roll and write games, I think you'll like My City. Godzilla. Fantastic Godzilla game. If you've been waiting for a Godzilla board game, this is it. My only caveat, my rating of 7 here is for 4 players. With 2 players, the game just doesn't really work. Dragomino. This is a kids version of King Domino. In fact, you can see me playing it with my kids as a live play. But it's really well done. It's a little bit of connecting domino style pieces on the board and drawing tiles, a little bit of probabilities. Dragomino. Sonora. Oh, this game right here. This is a flick and write game where you flick discs in the middle and then fill in different things. The flicking part's decent, but the writing part is really well done, comparable to the top tier roll and writes that are out there. Cosmic Colonies. This is a polyomino game where you're placing them down and trying to cover up a grid. And you use cards where you will play a card, it gives you an action, and then you pass the cards you use to the person on your left. It's a really nice, simple, clean system of good gateway game, if you will. I also started a new series this week where I'm starting to review apps, and so I started by reviewing the Tides of Time app, and this one is just fantastic. I actually like it better than the actual card game itself. Some of the best artwork and additions to an app that I've ever seen. I did play some apps this week on going through my What's Happening, Slay the Spire, finally got to take a look at that, and Lords of Waterdeep. I went through my top 10 bird games. I mentioned I reviewed the Back to the Future Dice Through Time. And then there was also Back to the Future Back in Time. I compared the two of them to tell you which one I like more. I started back up my series of 10,000 and below. You want to hear me talk about obscure games? That's the series for you. We did a live play of Marvel United, and we're also each night we're posting some of the videos from our Summer Spectacular, splitting them up in case you want to watch them separately. And of course, our daily chat's going on every night at 9 p.m. Still going on, so there you go. That's what we did. Lots of different videos for you to enjoy. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Week in Review on the Dice Tower.